Hello! So it's that time of the year when all YouTubers are doing top 10s, top 20s, top albums of this year, top box sets, call it what you will. Um, I don't buy hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of records every year, and I certainly don't buy everything that's been released. I only pretty much buy what I want or what's recommended to me. So this year I bought a lot of records, probably more than I've ever done. So I thought I'd do a top 15 albums that I've bought this year, my favourite albums that I bought this year, and some of them will be released, some of them will have been released this year, and a lot of them won't. So it's not the best of what's been released this year, it's what the best of what I've purchased, basically. So and this is, although it's a top 15, it's very hard to to put one album above another, but I've tried to do some sort of rudimentary ranking. So in 15th place, this is Surfer Girl, which I got this year, released by Acoustic Sounds. It was recorded in 1963, and it's part of Acoustic Sounds' Beach Boys reissue series. And it was mastered by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio, and it was mastered from the original master tapes or best source available. It's on 200 gram, pressed at QRP, and this is absolutely wonderful. It really is. It just brought a huge, great big grin to my face when I listened to this. I mean, I was I'd heard only a couple of the tracks on this album, but really is just great listening. And whether you like the Beach Boys or not, the harmonies of the Beach Boys is really, it's something to behold. It really is. And I just really enjoyed listening to this album. It sounded great too, really did. But if you want to get into a summery mood or remember what the summer was like, it seems quite a long time ago now. Now it's so cold and wet and whatever. This is a great record to put on, just puts you in a great summery mood. It's fabulous. I really enjoyed this, and it would have been nice if it had been on a gatefold sleeve. It's not a gatefold, but they've done a great job with the sleeve, and the pressing is lovely and quiet, and the remastering is fantastic. This is a stereo copy, and I've heard that the mono, like the Beatles, the mono copies are really where it's at, but I really enjoyed this and would highly recommend it. In 14th place, this was released a while back, but it's the Blue Note 80s series, one of the Blue Note 80s series, Art Taylor's 80s Delight, which was recorded in 1960. It's released on 180 gram, again mastered by Kevin Gray from the original master tapes, pressed at optimal. But this is a great album, and I tell you what, even though like the classic series from Blue Note is basically what they've rebranded the old 80s series as, and the remastering is fantastic, and the vinyl is lovely and quiet, and it's flat, and it's flawless. It really is fantastic. So and not expensive at all. This was what, less than 25 euros. The lineup is interesting because you've got look, any record that's got a musician on there called Potato, I want to hear it because that just intrigues me. Now, Potato Valdez, I think he's on the congas, or the yeah, I think it is the congas, and the interplay between him and Art Taylor on some of these tracks is just, it's great. If you like that kind of percussion interplay, which I really do, this is a great album to get. Some great tunes on here. The other instrumentalists, Dave Burns, Stanley Turrentine on saxophone, Paul Chambers on bass, Wynton Kelly on piano. Really, a really great lineup, and a really enjoyable album. And I think that's probably one of the best Blue Note covers. That cover is absolutely superb. I love what they've done with the typeface, and just made the type dominate the cover. I love that. I just think it's such a great cover. I'm going to be doing a favorite covers, jazz album covers, and this is going to feature. I just think this is such a top cover. Absolutely love it. And a little photo Art Taylor there, but it's such a good album. Really enjoyed that. In 13th place, again from the 80s series, is Herbie Hancock's Inventions and Dimensions, and this is awesome. This is such a great album. Again, it's on 180 gram vinyl. It was released in 1964. This is mastered again by Kevin Gray from the original master tapes, pressed at optimal. And what I really love about this album is it's a percussionist's delight. If you love percussion, and it's just a continuation of 80s delight in relation to that, then you'll love this, because there's congas, there's bongos, there's a very strange gourd-like instrument called the guiro. I think that's how you pronounce it, which is on the first track, Succotash. There's timbales, drums, piano. I mean, it's a percussionist's delight, this album, and I love it. It's one of the best Herbie Hancocks I've got, probably my favourite actually. It's absolutely brilliant, and the guy on the bongos and the congas, Chihuahua Martinez. The names of these musicians, you just don't see names like that anymore. It's brilliant. So I really enjoyed this, and again, the pressing is beautifully remastered. It's flat, it's quiet, it's flawless, absolutely brilliant, and so inexpensive. You can pick this up for less than 25 quid, you know, $25 probably. So I really enjoyed that, and would highly recommend it. Coming in at number 12, well, this is absolutely brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. Belafonte at Carnegie Hall. This was released in 1959, mastered by Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound from the original 3-track analog tapes. 3-track analog tape, and it's a 3-track tape, but it sounds amazing. It really does. You are right there in the front row. Harry Belafonte is just in front of you. You've got the musicians. There's an orchestra, as you can see on the cover there. There's you know, a bass player and 2 guitarists there. So at some points it's very intimate, and at other points it's more orchestral. But it's a lot of fun to listen to this. Michael Framer did a top 100 analog records, and this was one of them, and that's why I bought it. And it's just a great listen. And there's a real variety of tracks on the album. It's a double album, and I think it's on 200 gram. I could be wrong, but it really captures the magic of that concert. And he's so engaging, Harry Belafonte. He's funny. He tells little stories. He's got such a lovely voice as well. And he sings Caribbean songs. He sings some traditional classics from around the world, like Danny Boy, Shenandoah. Really fun album to listen to. Absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Highly recommend this. And then coming in at number 11 is one of my most recent purchases. Charles Mingus, The Black Saint and The Sinner Lady. Now, I've given this a bit more of a listen, and wow, this is seriously good. In fact, I reckon if I'd done this video in a couple of weeks' time, this would probably be higher up the list. But it really is fantastic. This was released in 1963. It's mastered by, this is from Acoustic Sounds, obviously part of their Impulse series, mastered by Ryan Smith from the original analog tapes on 180 grams and pressed at QRP. Mingus has such a unique sound. When you listen to jazz, particularly from Blue Note, that it's not formulaic, don't get me wrong, it's not formulaic at all, but Rudy Van Gelder had a very specific way of miking up his musicians, and you know, the sound from many jazz quartets or from jazz albums or quintets or trios, they're not hugely dissimilar to each other. Obviously there are differences, but this is entirely unique. The musicianship on this album is completely different to any Blue Note album I've ever heard, or even any Impulse record I've ever heard. It's obviously it reminds me of another Mingus album, Mingus but that there's no one else that sounds like him. You know, he's unique in the way he sounds, and the arrangements and the orchestration. It's an entirely different sound, and this is beautifully remastered. It's a gatefold sleeve, which is it's just a joy to behold. And you know what, Acoustic Sounds did such a great job with this with their Impulse reissue series, and indeed their Verve reissue series. In fact, I think one of the Verves appears later up the list, but this really is fantastic. Really impressed with it. Can't wait to listen to the other Mingus release, Mingus. I think I've got enough Minguses in there. So because I've not listened to that yet, it's not in this list, which is a shame, but I wanted to get this video done because Christmas is not far around the corner, and I just know I'm just not going to get the time. So that's the first 5. The next 5, so 10 down to 6, I'll be posting up soon. And who will be in the top 5? You'll have to wait and see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and keep spinning those records.